Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chuckle with the Guys. I'm Justin, as always, and I'm here with my two colleagues. It's Ross and Nikos. Guys, what's going on? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing this week? Everybody okay?
Doing all right. A little worn out, but still
Been a lot
going.
going on. A lot
Yep.
going
Yeah,
on. Worn out. You're getting ready to move into a new house.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Hopefully
we're all proud of
by
you,
next.
Ross.
I'm
We're all
so
very proud.
I'm so happy to you guys.
Yeah,
First
yeah.
first house ever. First time homeowner. Looking forward to it. But
You excited about having your own castle?
yeah, I am. I'm excited. Once everything's finally in there and I'm like comfortable, it's gonna be great.
You know, when I was younger, I had all these visions of how I was going to decorate my house. I wanted to get like those neon beer signs,
Hell yeah.
one
Yeah.
of those signs that say "No, ma'am, boys only," some sick
Right.
shit like that. Maybe
Yeah.
a framed Scarface poster, Fight
Yeah.
Ooh.
Club.
Yeah.
I don't have any of that shit, and
No, man. I got
yeah,
close to that though. When
really.
I moved into my house, I put a framed picture of Don Corleone saying, "I'll make you an offer you can't refuse," right above the toilet.
That's right. You did. Forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had it right above the toilet when you stepped in there. You were greeted by Don Corleone being like, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse."
Yeah, I tell you what, 19-year-old Nikos would be very disappointed in 35-year-old Nikos'
What do
design
you really?
choices.
Yeah. But he
Yeah,
might be proud of 45-year-old Nikos when you
that's
finally turn
true.
it around.
You know, I was talking about mortality the other day with one of my coworkers. She's in her late 40s, and she sort of talked about how one of her friends, a male, was just going through a midlife crisis at this point. He got super wasted on his birthday and started texting all of his friends about
Damn.
how bad his marriage was. This was on his birthday night.
Jesus.
Dude, that's
pretty
heavy.
awful.
And his wife took his phone away from him.
Smart.
Yeah, and I was like, "Man," I was like, "Is that gonna be me in a few years?" You know, I
Nah.
just I don't know, but then I also thought, "Man, when I lose my hair," I was thinking about, like, a sick look, and one of the sick looks I was thinking about is, like, I think I don't like hair transplants. I think if when I lose my hair, I'm just gonna leave the top bald, grow out the sides, throw that in a ponytail. I feel like that's a good look.
Wild.
That's not a bad look, I guess.
I think
That's
it
pretty
looks better
wild.
on white men, though. Black men don't typically rock that look.
Right.
But as far as, like, white guy looks, man, that's a great look. Do that and some open-toe sandals and socks,
Yeah. Some
cargo shorts.
cargo shorts.
That is a
Man,
look. Isn't
And
that kind of like
open Hawaiian shirt with the
yeah,
beer gut hanging out.
that's nice. Now that's a look.
is that kind of like Hulk Hogan's hair without the ponytail? Because didn't he have it like
Yeah.
growing out on the sides?
He had the flowing locks on the
Yeah.
side. Very
But
wispy and thin.
But see,
Yeah.
that's what I hated about it was that when he would get really sweaty,
Ew.
it would turn into like strings. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah. He should've
You
got
know,
extensions.
you could do a Hulk Hogan though and start wearing the bandana once you go bald.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. No, I would wanna embrace it. Well, like, here's the thing. So those guys that I'm talking about, I was thinking more like the scientist look where they have, like, the little Indiana Jones hat and they're bald on top with the ponytail,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if I know what you're talking about. Scientists wear Indiana Jones hats?
Well, like research, like,
fedora.
so, like, you know, you never seen those guys that walk around with the fedora? There is a
Oh,
guy that works
you're
yeah, yeah.
talking. Are you talking about kind of like what's the guy from Jurassic Park?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I get that. A white
Like
fedora.
yeah, or any type of fedora or not stitched. What are those hats where it's like out of the material that they make baskets out of almost?
Well, like one of those like woven
Woven
straw
hats.
hats.
Yeah. That's a good look. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like most black men just completely shave it, but I don't have the head for a completely shaven head.
You don't think so?
No, I got a noggin on me and it's sort of weird shaped. So
If
I
you
know.
were to go bald, would you grow out the beard?
Ooh, that's the problem. I don't know. Maybe by the time I go bald, I'll be able to grow a beard. But currently,
Yeah.
I can really only grow a what do you call it? A soul patch and a mustache.
Really? You can't
Yeah,
grow much
can't
more
grow a
of that?
beard. No, it doesn't really grow on the side. Just very patchy.
Okay.
It's actually pretty disgusting. So I don't. So yeah, I don't know. I think I would just go mustache. All right, here we go. Now I'm thinking about it. I'd go mustache. I know I was just saying I would shave it, but yes, I will shave it. But I'm getting a really bad toupee. Like I want it to be ridiculous. Like gray sides, but a dark black toupee on top.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And not only that, but not even the same texture, like a white guy's toupee.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
you
was
should do
Like not
blonde.
well. So I was thinking kind of almost like Hitler's hair when he freaks out and it goes all crazy and it's like just draped in front. Just
We could probably find a
slick.
better example or a better person.
We
There's got to be
could, but
someone else that
that's
had
the
that hair.
first thing that came to my mind. Just because you said mustache, I was thinking mustache, bad white hair.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. All right. I don't want to praise Hitler's hair. I don't think it's the worst. I want whatever
It's
toupee Burt
not
Reynolds
great.
had.
Now, I think you should do kind of like Javier Bardem's hairstyle from Skyfall, the Bond film, just really blonde but kind of long and curly.
Yeah,
I would. I don't want to go blonde. I feel like that's too much, but definitely jet black. My hair would be
Jet
like
black.
a lighter brown and a gray
Mhm.
on the sides with just a jet black toupee on top.
I was getting dangerously close to Javier Bardem's hair in No Country for Old Men. I recently cut it about a month ago, but it was getting really long. It was like down to my shoulders, but it was looking weird.
You should bump they call it, well, I don't know. We call it bumping the ends where they curl it up like he has it in No Country for Old Men. You should do that next time.
I don't think there's going to be a next time.
Okay.
Can I tell you that was really funny? I hadn't not thought of that until you told me, and then when you told me, I could not unsee it.
I know. So for real, when I told you that, I was like, I'm unleashing something against myself here. This is
Yeah.
almost an act of self-harm. And I knew that if I told that to one of our other coworkers, an older guy named Don, I was like, he's never going to stop saying that to me.
No, yeah. Telling him that was probably a bad idea, but
Well,
it was really funny.
I don't think I did, but I told it to you. But I like literally when I told it to you, I was like, I'm going to say this, but I know that this is about to be a self-inflicted wound. And you know what? I'm ready for it. I think it's what I needed to get me to finally cut the hair.
Yeah.
But
I'm losing mine, so
I mean,
I'm going
mortality is just tough. Like I do wonder, like, what will I be like 10 years from now, or even 5 years from now? Like, how bad is it gonna be, right? Like, am I gonna be reciting fucking Jordan Peterson? Who?
No. You're going the whole wrong way. You have to think about the next 10 years and think about how great it's going to be.
But it's been getting predominantly worse.
Well, the outside world is, but that's why you need to make the internal world better.
No, I get your point, but the thing is, like, I'm gonna wake up one day and I'm like, holy shit, my life's almost over. I work with these chuckle fucks. Like, I'm like,
That's
like,
a source of great happiness to me.
walking every day, look at you guys, I'm like, fuck, what have I done?
Honestly, the dumber life gets, the happier I get.
But yeah,
It is weird, like when you think about what you thought your life would be like when you were younger. I mean, did you think about it a lot when you were young of what your life would end up like and what you kind of wanted it to be like?
I'll be honest, I never really did. I've
ne-
never
I've thought
really
about it all the
wanted
time.
anything. Like, I've never really had any like aspirations for any kind of like particular career in any big way. So everything I have is just, to me, it's just kind of like a bonus.
you're the man that Jordan Peterson cries for. Just so you know.
Yes.
No, I think from very early on, I think all I thought about was getting to the next part, I guess. Or I was always thinking about
But here's the
something
thing.
better, and I always imagined that things would be like, okay, once I reach this age, this is going to make sense, and more things are going to make sense, and things are going to be better. And then I get to the next stage, and that's going to make sense, and this is going to be better. And I found that with every step that I thought, nothing made any sense, and everything got kind of worse. I don't know. Like,
I get what you're saying. I wouldn't think of life as like stages. I know it is stages, but like, I don't think of it like this stage, then the next stage, and the next stage. Like, it's not just one continuous thing.
I much like you, Ross, when I was younger, I did not have a plan. Actually, to this day, I don't have a plan. I don't know what I want to be. But I do remember once like having like a major, I wouldn't say a major breakdown. When I was in the military, I remember I came back from Afghanistan. I went to a new base. I had a new supervisor. She was sort of a hard ass. And this is before we ever had our initial sit down. And then we had our initial sit down and we were talking. And she's like, so what do you want to do? And I just like broke down. I just like started crying. I was like, I have no idea. I was like, I don't know. And I just cried. And she like hugged me. And she was like, it's okay. It's okay. And I don't know what happened. I think it was the idea of like just, I'd been through so much in those few years. I had like deployed twice for like a year at a time, like really close together. And then having to move and start over. It was just like, it was a terrible, and I still don't know what I want to do. And if someone asked me again in a soft voice what I wanted to do, I'd probably do the same thing again.
You may weep again.
Yes.
Nikos,
Yeah.
what do you want to do?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, I understand the like I can picture that just because it's like it is a little overwhelming when you
Yeah.
think about it in that totality. But like I don't know, just I wouldn't think about a life in that way.
Yeah.
think about it more like it's just this like constant stream of things, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But like at the end, like think about where you are right now. All the times that things didn't make sense, you feel like it all led up to this. You're like you made it through everything. So I think that has to count for something.
You know what's something that's kind of interesting that I learned along the way, and I actually wrote about this in a book that I wrote once, but is that when I was younger, I looked at adults, people older than me, and I was like, oh, well, they clearly have things figured out, and one day I'll have things figured out too. And you just kind of assume that like they're adults, they know what's going on, they got it figured out, and you can kind of put trust there. But the older you get, you start realizing that nobody got this shit figured out.
Yeah.
My mom's like calling me about like things that are obvious scams. I'm like, Mom, what? Stop clicking on it. What are you looking at? Like, why are you asking me? Of course it's fake.
Yeah.
My granddad called me the other day because he's a coin collector, and he saw online that someone was saying one of the coins he has is worth $18 million. I was like, that's like, I guarantee you that's not true. But at least he called me and he didn't fall for it. But he's constantly calling me about shit he saw online to ask. I mean, at least he trusts me enough to come to me and ask me if the
Yeah.
shit's real.
What is the coin scam though? What are they trying to get out of him?
I think they're just trying to get you to send your coin in so they can either steal it or charge you to grade it.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I was like, no. I was like, that doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
My dad fell for a lot of scams. He was always clicking on things about like the Home Depot says that you've won $100 gift card.
Yeah.
You just have to click this and you'll get your $100 gift card from name the place. It was like usually like hardware stores like Lowe's, Home Depot.
Yeah.
And it would cause problems. And I was like, did you ever sign up for a contest to win $100 from these people? I was like, well, no. Then maybe you shouldn't click on that.
I thought you were gonna say he was falling for the like one weird trick to grow your dick scam.
Well, who knows with him? I don't know. It's entirely possible.
I almost got tricked by a publisher's clearinghouse call once, but it was like they didn't say publisher's clearinghouse. It was very similar to publisher's clearinghouse. And I was like, what? And I kept asking him. Eventually, the guy just got really annoyed with me because I don't know, he hung up, but it was, and then I looked up the actual name they were telling me. It was fake. But they were like saying all the things that come with Publisher Clearinghouse. It was just a scam company trying to get your personal information.
Justin and I know a guy who this week, I don't know if it was actually a scam or just a wrong number, but there was some company, some real estate company that was trying to buy his or get him to, join or whatever. And they kept calling him Brett, I think. Was that it, Justin? Brett or Brent?
It was Bruce.
Bruce, that's it.
It was Bruce.
They kept reaching out to him being like, Bruce, like sign up for this, sell this. And he sent them back a message that said, this isn't Bruce, go fuck yourself. And then she responded, have a great day. And then I think like 2 hours later, 2 hours later, they were like, save our contact. And then I think he said he wrote her back and said, look, you didn't deserve that. I'm sorry that I did that. and then blocked her number.
I'm telling you, this guy's trying to turn over a new leaf.
I support it.
I support it too. I kind of think this is a bit of a scam, but I think there was a publishing company, because I got a message today and I read it and I was like, what? But I think there's a publishing company that is wanting to, and this is where I kind of know. They're like, we've looked over your work and we find it amazing. I've never sent this publishing company anything. And they're like, we really want to publish you, but when you read it, they want you to put money up front.
Yeah, I think that's
and it's
like the telltale sign.
Yeah, no way. No way.
You got to pay the cost to be the boss.
No, sir. No, sir. That is not how that business works. That business works is, we all make it together. But I don't, you don't pay for agents and you don't pay for publishing.
I did get scammed. I don't know. I absolutely got scammed when I was in Boston. There's this guy. I used to work right in downtown Boston, right above South Station. And there was a guy there. I don't know. Maybe I didn't get scammed. Anyways, he came up to me. He's like, hey, my car broke down right down the street. Do you have a couple dollars so I could buy something? I can't remember what it was. And he's like, listen, I'll pay you back. He had on like a suit that was too big for him and it looked sort of dingy. And his shoes looked too big. He's like, I work right around the corner. He's like, look, I'm gonna give you my business card.
It was a child. It was a 10-year-old who stole his dad's outfit.
older guy. He was probably like in his 40s or 50s. And he's like, I promise. He's like, listen, my kids need me. He's like, I just need a couple bucks. So anyway, they gave him like $10. He's like, all right. He's like, as a matter of fact, go ahead and give me your number. I'm going to give you a call. I'll give you a text. I'll meet you out here and I'll give you the money again. I was like, all right. So the stupid thing was giving him my number because I knew he wasn't going to give me the money back. But either way, I gave him the number. I didn't see him again for weeks. And then I go outside again. I think I was going to walk across the street to get some pizza or something. And here he is again, running the same scam. And I was like, and he tried to run it on me again. I was like, you owe me $10.
What did he say when you sold him that?
He's like, nah, that was me, man. And he just walked off.
That was another man in oversized outfit, oversized clothes, with clown shoes.
A few weeks later, I was on Reddit or something, and I didn't follow the Boston subreddit, but he popped up, like his picture popped up, and there was like, beware of this guy. He's been running this scam for years. Essentially, he's also like they're like, also be very careful, he's violent. And he's been arrested for attacking people.
Damn.
So yeah, I had met one of the local scam artists. But I mean, I don't know if I got scammed because I wasn't expecting the money back, but I feel stupid. I don't know why I gave him my number. I should have just said, fuck it was just $10. But
yeah, the number is the alarming thing. I had a incident a few years ago. I wouldn't call it a scam, but it was I was going into a Target and there was a young guy out there and he was like, hey, can you get me a drink? And it was like probably the hottest day of the year. So I'm like, you know what? He doesn't look like he's doing too good. It is really hot. I'll get him a drink. And so I'm like, well, what do you want to drink? But he was like, I'll just come in with you and pick it out. I'm like, all right. I went in there to buy, I think, like shoelaces, and it was very uncomfortable having this young guy, just walk beside me, and he's trying to make conversation, and I'm kind of giving him like a little bit of my life, like what I do for work and all that stuff. But he's like, "Hey, I want a Red Bull, and it's like 2 for 1. Can I get 2?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, that makes sense." He's like, but like a Gatorade would really quench my thirst. Can I get a Gatorade too? It's like, all right. And he's like, I'm really hungry. Can I get some gummy bears? And I'm like, fine, get some gummy bears. He comes back with 2 bags, the big ass bags of gummy bears, and they're not 2 for 1. So he's just doubling up. And then I'm like, whatever. It's it's only like, this is only going to be like $10. It's not a big deal. And then we're in line, and while we're in line, he looks over and he's like, hey, can I get an icy too? Because it's really, I was like, what? And then and I guess I must have said it in a way that was like, stop. And he just was like, no, it's fine, man. I'm good with just this. And then he followed me out. And I think after I bought everything, he thought like, well, this is awkward. I need to like not just get my shit and run. So he kept talking while I'm walking to my car. And I'm like, if this motherfucker asks me for a ride somewhere, I'm going to have to just be like, absolutely not, dude. I don't want you in my car. But he didn't. But I was like, I don't know if I got like scammed, because I mean, I was allowing it, but it was really weird and awkward.
Another time I got scammed. This time I actually did get scammed. I was in North Dakota. Mind you, I had only lived in small towns at the time, coming from down here, and then I moved to North Dakota. So you sort of just trust most people, right? So a young kid knocks on my apartment door. He's like, hey, I'm selling magazines for some school program. So I let the guy in, or like, I think he's college age. So I let him in, and he talked about it. I was like, and he's like, oh, just like a 1-year magazine subscription. I just need a check or something like that. Anyway, so I signed up for the subscription. Months pass. I never get a magazine. I don't know who I get, but I kept getting billed for it. I didn't know who to call. And I paid that subscription for like 2 years before it finally stopped.
Really?
Yeah. And I never got a magazine.
What was the magazine you were wanting?
I think it was People, actually.
It was People magazine?
You can get that at the grocery store.
Well, the thing was, it was like, it's for school or something. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll just pay it or whatever. And that was the only magazine I would sort of care about. They didn't really have that many good choices. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll take a People.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I never got that magazine. God damn it.
I don't know if this counts as a scam or just I didn't get what I ordered, but I think the first ever scam I ever got, I must have been like 7 or 8. And I ordered obviously with my parents' help, I ordered a plushie of Arthur from PBS.
Nice.
That shit never showed up.
Ooh, that's why Donald Trump shut him down. Good.
Maybe
payback.
Maybe that's why. Maybe I should have been cheering that on.
Don Jr. probably did the same thing. He's like,
maybe.
I had a grudge ever since.
I had a moment kind of like you, Ross. I was at the gas station. It was late, and a guy comes over to me and does that. Hey, man, hey man, 1 second, and it's like, what's up, man? And he's like, can I get some money, some gas money? I'm kind of stuck here. No, I think it was money for the bus. I got
Money
some
for the
money for the
bus.
bus.
Yeah.
And I
That's
was like, yeah. I
yeah,
said,
yeah.
well, all I have is the card. I ain't got no cash. And he's like, that's okay. There's an ATM machine right over there. And he was like, I'll walk with you to go get it. I was like, this sucks, man. I was like, come on, man. So I was like, okay. So I go over to the ATM. I'm going to pull out just a little bit of money, but I shit you not, I could not remember my PIN number.
That's
I
a
never,
that's a good trick to pull if I ever get caught in this situation.
well,
But
I
would you
couldn't
believe someone?
remember it.
No one would believe you. Like, oh, I can't remember my PIN number.
But here's what's funny is that like I legitimately could not
It's
remember it
true.
because I never use it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the same thing. So I go, hey man, this is gonna sound crazy, but I actually don't remember my PIN number right now. I'm drawing a blank. And he kind of looks at me like, yeah, right. And he goes, but ever the optimist, he goes, that's okay, because do you have Venmo? And I was like, Jesus Christ. It's like, just go. So I ended up giving him money for the
Yeah,
bus.
that's a newer thing of people wanting either like, some assistance or even just like donations. I think we were in, was it Asheville a few years ago? And there was some like monks walking around and they were like, hey, we're taking donations. And we were like, ah, man, I love what you're doing, but I don't have any money. And they're like, that's cool. They pull out their phone. They're like, we have Cash App. And it's like,
Monks,
shit. Yeah, they're like Buddhist monks. And it was like,
Buddhist monks with Cash App. Yeah. The dumbest I've ever felt, though, I woke up one morning, and I blame it on the fact that it was early, but I wake up one morning and I was just scrolling on the phone before I got up and got ready for work. And I happened to see that there is an ad for a board game store that I never followed ever, but there was an online board game store that was going out of business and they were trying to get rid of all of their product. And I start looking at these board games, and I collect board games, and I love board games. And so I start looking, and there's all these ones that I had on my collection that I just could not get. And I'm going through it, and I'm like, oh my God, they have this game. And they were cheap. They're like $10 or less. And I'm thinking, I've hit the jackpot. And so I start adding all of these board games to my cart and, end up spending maybe close to $50, but I'm getting like a bunch of these games. I can't believe my luck. And expansions too.
yeah,
And
that's
there
the
was
deal.
something about the fact that like the way the checkout process went, it was only later as I'm driving down the road going to work that I'm like, wait a minute, the checkout process is kind of strange. I never got like there's no way for them to confirm my order.
Yeah,
And
that's
I started
it's a dead
like,
giveaway.
and then I get back and I go online and I start, Googling, and of course it's like, this is a scam. So I like try to go through the bank to do it. And the where it was charged to, the money that I paid was charged to some account that's in like Iceland or something. And I was like, God, I'm an idiot. Why did
They're-
I think that? Why did I think that?
Iceland's known for their board game scams specifically.
I know. That should have been the first giveaway. Icelandic board game scams.
Sorry, I'm trying to think if I feel like I've probably gotten scammed more than that, but that's all that really comes to mind. Yeah, I don't know.
Justin, you told me a story of like you were on a date one time and some guy was like, can you buy me dinner? And you just straight up did.
I guess. So
Again,
was
maybe
on-
not a scam, but definitely someone kind of taking a little bit of advantage of your kind soul.
it was my birthday, and I actually
that makes
had
it
a
worse.
I know. I actually had a first date with this girl who I met on a dating site, and it was my birthday. Just kind of fell that way, the way she was available. And then we go up to the Starbucks on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. And I'm sitting there and, talking, getting to know one another. And this guy comes over and he's like, hey, sorry to bother y'all, but I was wondering if you can get me some food at the Jimmy John's, or give me money for food for Jimmy John's or something like that. And I was like, what the hell? But I was like, I'm with this, I don't know what to do because I'm with this girl and I don't know, like, so I'm like, yeah, I'll go get it. And so he's like, come with me or something. So I like got up and like had to leave, go to Jimmy John's with this dude. And
Did you leave the girl?
yeah,
I didn't know this part. So
yeah,
you
because
just bailed on your date temporarily.
no, like, yeah, temporarily. He was like, come, can you walk with me to go to the Jimmy John's? And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I did not know what to do in the situation. I was so caught off guard. Because I'm already kind of nervous about being on this, first date nerves. And then all of a sudden now I've got this guy asking me to buy him a Jimmy John's sandwich. And I'm like, if I say no, fuck off, she's going to be like, what an asshole, doesn't want to buy this guy a sandwich.
Yeah.
But I was also like, if I do it, is she going to be like, wow, he's one of these who will, I didn't know what to do. So I
He's a
just
great
chose
man.
that option.
So if I would be worried that she would think that this was a setup to make me look good. Like I paid this guy $5, pretend like you need food, and I'm gonna really impress her.
Yeah. Well, so I ended up buying the guy the sandwich. So I get up and I like walk next door to the Jimmy John's, and I forget how it comes up, but I'm like, he's like, do you live around here? So I don't know. And he ends up telling me that he works for the hotel across the street or something. And I'm like, well, why don't they pay you to get a sandwich? But I ended up telling him that I was on like a first date or something, and he was like, oh man, well I hope it really works out or something like that.
He didn't give you any first date advice?
No.
Dang.
You know, I think the real lesson there is carry cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't carried cash in years.
Cash is king. My granddad always told me, he's like, hey, always keep $20 in your wallet. Never know what'll come in handy.
I've heard that too, and I don't disagree, but I don't do it.
Yeah, I don't do that either. You have to go to the bank. You have to go through the line. You have to pull out the ATM. You have to remember your PIN.
I think I have
Remember.
like a very guilty looking face just by default. And so I think if I had $20, but I needed it, and somebody asked me if I had any money and I said no, they'd know right away I was lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could claim homeless people on my taxes. I'm constantly giving out cash if I have it.
Really?
Yeah, I just can't help it. I just feel bad, you know? They look really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't always give it out, but when I was in North Dakota, like they would be out there like in negative 20 degrees weathers. I'm like, you know what? These guys are working for it. They deserve it. Here, back home, you're out here in the summertime hanging out in the sun. I don't know. I'm a little more like, maybe. I don't know.
I think the one time I intentionally did it was I was walking around downtown Chapel Hill. And, there's a lot of homeless folks in downtown Chapel Hill, but I was walking around and I happened to see this one guy who's got a puppy, and he's like sitting in an alleyway with this puppy. And I walked over and I was like, here's some money. And it was right much for me at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, here's some money, but I said, this is for that damn dog, dude. I was like,
yeah, that's it for you.
I was about to say, like, I don't want to see you doing anything on this street for yourself. Everything I'm giving you is for this fucking dog right here. Like, you know what I mean? And he smiled and he said, thank you. All right. And I was like, I'm serious. If I see you walking around here with a Reese's cup, I'm kicking your ass.
Yeah.
This is for
I'll
the
give you some
dog.
money, but there's some stipulations.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I did one time? There was someone like, I feel like they took advantage of my, well, I mean, it's not the first time my, what do you call it? Hospitality has been taken advantage of, but there was a young couple outside the Harris Teeter. I didn't have any cash, but they were immigrants. I think they were European immigrants. So they look like Romani people. Anyways, they're like, our car broke down. I don't believe it. But anyways, whatever the case, I'm like, I don't have any cash, but I have a lottery ticket that I haven't cashed. I'm like, you can take it and you can cash it. Oh, okay. So I grab it and I give it to him. It was like $50 on it.
That's pretty good.
The guy's like, oh, can you go cash it for me? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, no, I don't want to.
No.
I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I just can't. I don't have an idea. I'm like, oh my God. Anyways, of course I do it, but it was just like, bro, like, what are you doing? Come on, leave me alone.
One time I think I gave like $30 to a couple. They had they were carrying some like trash bags full of clothes, and it was cold, and they were like, hey, can you give us some money to like try to get a place tonight because it's gonna be so cold? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then he proceeded to try to like pull out some like paperwork. I don't know what it was, like eviction notices or something. He had something that was gonna like prove that he was homeless, and I was just like, you don't need to show me that. It's fine. But is that yeah, I believe you. But like, is that a thing? Like, it's like, is there
homeless papers?
Homeless papers, essentially. It's what it sounded like he was trying to show me. I was like, I don't know if that's even a thing, but it's all good.
Yeah, I don't know. They give you homeless papers.
Speaking of, well, I don't maybe unhoused. But when I was in Portland, first time, honestly, Portland, Oregon, one of my favorite cities in the country. But I remember going there, and they have a very significant homeless population. Everyone there said that they were shipped in from Seattle. That's what the locals claim. But I remember I went to this place called Killer Burger in Portland, which at the time, best burger I had in my life up until that point, which since then has been surpassed by La Diplomate in DC. But that's besides the fact. So I go there. I didn't finish my burger because it's so big and delicious. I'm walking home. or I'm walking back to my hotel at the time, and a unhoused man comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, do you happen to have any money?" And mind you, these weren't very like it was very aggressive. Like it was this unhoused man looked like a stereotypical homeless man from a movie. Like, and he had a scent to him, so I didn't really want to touch him or be near him. No offense, right?
Sure.
And he was like, "Hey, you got any money?" I was like, "I'm sorry, man. I don't have any money. I'm just going home." And then before I could even start walking again, he's like, "Are you gonna finish that?" And I was like,
He wanted your half-eaten burger?
"Yeah." I was like, "Man," I was like, "I really want this burger. This is the best burger I ever had." Not only that, but I had already been in Afghanistan for 7 months. I was back in the States for 2 weeks for like R&R before I had to go back. So it was like the best meal I had in a long time.
Mhm.
And I was like, it took everything out of me, but I was like, you know what? If you're willing to eat half of my food, just take it. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? This is my.
I was about to say,
like,
that's serious.
I know, but
That
I
is
was like,
serious.
I had
There's
never
not
had
many
someone-
people.
yeah,
I don't think there's many people who'd be like, I want to finish the food from a complete stranger.
yeah. He's like, hey, bro, you gonna finish that? I'm like, I was hoping to, but here you go.
I was hoping to.
I was hoping to finish it, but
I was in Providence one time when I was waiting outside a hotel with my now wife, and I was waiting for my family, and this guy came up to us, and he had like his fists clenched, and he was breathing heavy, and he was like, "Excuse me, sir," and I was like, "Shit, what is this, dude?" And he was just like, I'm so angry. I'm just so angry right now," and it was so uncomfortable and weird. And I was like, "It's okay, man. Like, you're good. Like, calm down." He's like, "I'm just so mad." And I was like, "All right." And he was like, "Do you have any money you can give me?" And I didn't have any. And I was just like, "Nah, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm waiting for my family right here." And he was just like, "God bless you," and then walked away. And I was like, that's the most aggressive blessing I ever received. And I'm like, I grew up in like a Catholic family. You think I'd be used to that, but that was the most aggressive blessing I've ever received.
Ross, I think one of my favorite stories you've ever told is the one where you helped that Korean family, I think it was.
But yeah. Well, that was just a good time.
This was funny.
That was so I'm at a gas station filling up the old Ford 150, and a Korean family pulls up, and they don't speak perfect English, but they can speak enough to like communicate with me. But I'm like really intent, like I'm like they seem cool, like I want to like they seem like they need help, so they asked me if I can help them with their GPS because they don't know how to work their GPS. And I'm like, yeah, I can give it a try. And so it's like this is back in like 2010 or whatever. And so this is like mounted into their car. It's not like on a phone or anything.
That's a Garmin.
Maybe a Garmin, maybe a TomTom.
Oh, okay.
But I I'm like I'm still a little weary of people, Like I want to be friendly, but I'm also like, I've seen Taken. I know that. A pretty boy like me might get stolen. So I'm like, okay. And they're like, no, it's like in the car. And so I'm like, shit. So I like sit in the passenger seat, and I make sure to like keep my leg out in case they try to like slam the door shut. Cause I'm like terrified. I'm like, are they going to like try to like kidnap me? Is there a Korean trafficking thing going on that I
Yeah.
don't know about? So
You're gonna
I
be their comfort girl.
maybe deserved.
Yeah.
But I sorted out for them, and dude, I get like the biggest round of applause. Like they're like cheering for me. Um, and they're like, yeah, yeah, and they're like fist pumping, and they're like patting me on the back. And all I did was just like like push a couple buttons, and I'll be real with you, I don't even know if I did it correctly. They
You
may
sent
they
them
may
someplace
still
random.
they may still be lost right now. But I get out of the car, and they're just like cheering me on. Like I'm like, I've never felt this good in my life, man. And they get in the car, and I get in my truck, and as they're driving away, like all of them just like their faces are pushed up against the window, waving at me and smiling at me. Like they could not have been like you'd have thought I just like saved their lives. And I was like, this is such a great feeling. I may never feel this good again.
Maybe what if they stole like part of your soul in there and you don't even know it?
Maybe. But
I
you know what? They can have it.
I got well, not it's sort of similar. When I first moved to Massachusetts, I remind you, this is me going from small town North Carolina to small town North Dakota, and now I'm in a big city. I'm finally a city pig, and I'm moving to a town called Lowell. For those of you who don't know, Lowell is like that's the sketchy part of Massachusetts, right? Like it's one of the exurbs of Boston, but it's a real sketchy area, former industrial city. But I went to go check out the new apartment I was moving into. It was actually a pretty nice apartment. It was on the same campus it was on the campus like of UMass Lowell. But across from the apartment complex was a methadone clinic, which I didn't know what that was. But anyways, I'm leaving the viewing of my apartment, and as I do that, two tweakers walk out in front of my car. I had bought a brand new Jeep. They walk out, they stop me. So I think they saw the North Dakota plates and they're like, oh, this guy's probably an idiot. And they were right. So they stop me and they say, hey, this is an emergency. We need to go pick up our kid. Or actually, it was a dude and a woman. Say, hey, I need to go pick up my son. It wasn't the guy's kid, but he's like, yeah, she needs to go pick up her kid. Can you give us a ride down the street to the CVS so we can go meet her baby's father to get her kid? I'm like, I was like, I'd rather not, but okay. And they're like, oh, cool. And so I let these two tweakers into my car and like,
Oh my
hey,
God.
do you want us to sit in the front or the back? And I was like, just get in the back, which is probably a stupid move because as they got in the back, I was like, damn, they could just choke me out and kill me
Yeah.
or stab me in the back of my car. So they're in the back seat, and as we're driving, they're telling me which way to go. It was a short ride, but they told me the longest way to get there too, which I didn't know until later. So maybe they were trying to set me up, but they were in there. As they were in the back seat, they're like, "Man, you're really young. This is a really nice car." I'm like, "Yeah, thank you."
Those are not two things you want to hear from
Yeah.
strangers who are tweakers. You're
Yeah,
very young, and this is very nice car.
Yeah, I
Dude,
was like,
that's
"Fuck."
crazy. I
But
can't
anyways,
believe
the
that.
whole time
You're so
they were,
young, I could kill you, and this is such a nice thing. It's worth stealing.
yeah, and then like I got him across it was literally like across the bridge, but like there's so much traffic in the area. It probably took us like 20 minutes, but they were like trying to make small talk, and I think they were sort of tweaking too, and they probably felt as uncomfortable as I did. And I was like, fuck. And then like once I dropped them off and everything was fine, they're like, oh, thank you so much. But like that whole night, I was like, how fucking stupid can you be? Like that's all I could think. Even to this day, I think, what the fuck was I thinking?
I had a moment
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, when I was a kid, I was walking around the neighborhood once. I was young. I was probably like 11 or 12. I was a butterball too. I was a butterball.
Little blonde butterball.
Young
Yep. Looked like a dollop of butter. When I'm walking
Just
around the
a
neighborhood,
thick boy.
thick with a couple of C's, and I'm walking around the neighborhood listening to music, and this guy, this stranger danger, who had a white van in the driveway with both doors open and a rubber,
That's almost like comical.
with a rubber mat that he was trying to put in the back of the van.
God.
He was struggling, and he said, "Hey, come here." So I go over, and he's like, "I really could use your help here, young man. How about you climb inside the van and help me pull this rubber mat inside the van?" And I'm thinking to myself, this is how it ends. I
Yeah.
literally saw Buffalo Bill do this in
Yeah, I was gonna
Silence of the
say.
Lambs to someone.
I was gonna say
And-
if you had seen it yet, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I had seen that. And so I climb into the back of this van and I start helping this guy put this rubber mat in there. And I'm at the very back of the van. And I'm just like, all he has to do once I get the rubber mat in is just shut the doors, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't. He was like, "Thank you so much for your help. Really appreciate it." And I hopped out of there. And I thought afterwards, like you, I was like, God, that could have been
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
really bad.
I
It
could-
could have
like,
been really
so-
bad.
I get you're young. I do question like why you would do that, but more than that, I question why a guy doing that wouldn't be aware of how weird that is.
Yeah.
That's kind
like,
of,
like
that's
I
a
would
good point.
never do that because
That's
I
a good
know how
point, yeah.
strange that is.
yeah.
Right.
I don't think I would never ask that either because of that very memory and moment. I'm like,
Yeah.
that just could come off really strange. But no, he was like, "I need to get this mat in the back of this van and I need help." And here he comes.
Did you
Did
ever
you-
ask what it was for?
No, I just got the hell out of there, bro.
I mean, at least it wasn't like if it was like a bed, like a mattress, that would have been way weirder.
Yeah, that would have been weirder. But no, I left to put my headphones back on and just power walked away from there. You know, my little fat self trying to walk.
Did you
as
know
fast as I
him
could.
from the neighborhood, or you
Do
just
I?
happened upon him that day?
I mean, I had seen him out there before. I didn't know him that well, but I had seen him outside, like watering his shit and stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, and I was like, you know, so I had seen him, but like, it's like we had never spoken at all. Like he had no reason. I mean, he's got no reason to invite any kid in the neighborhood over to climb inside his van.
So here's my other thing. How hard is it to put a rubber mat in the back of a van? I think I could do that on my own. I don't think
It was
I need
thick.
to employ a
It was
little
heavy.
fat boy.
Yeah, that's actually quite remarkable. I was able to get that in there. I had like 0 strength. I was thick. I was big, but I was just solid, massive fat.
Soft.
How many
fat.
boys went missing in your neighborhood growing up?
Yeah.
Well, not me. I was good. But yeah, I got that mat in the back.
Yeah, you had a few weird instances because a few weeks ago you talked about the Mormons.
Well, yeah, the Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, the Jehovah's Witness. But now it's the weirdo neighbor.
Well, I'll tell you about this other guy. There was another guy. Actually, he lived. Oh my God, he lived across the street from Van Dude.
Okay.
So he was the house directly across the street from Van Dude, and he was weird too. Yeah, he was weird too, man. I remember he took an interest in my friend and I. I know this sounds kind of weird, but he took an interest in my friend and I because we were playing Army.
Yeah, he needed a couple little soldiers by his side.
Yeah, and this dude was in the National Guard because he told us, he was like, he tried to come out and be like, "At ease, soldiers," or something like that. I don't know, fucking with us. And he was like,
"I'm in for the military."
You boys, he was like, "Hey, I'm in the discipline."
Yeah, and he started talking about how he was in the National Guard and he wanted to show us something cool.
Yeah, gee, what the hell, dude? That is insane.
I swear to God. He's like, "Hey, let me show you guys something." He's like, "Hey, let me show you guys something really cool. I think you guys will like." We're like,
but I'm not going to tell you until you're in my home.
Close your eyes.
So we go out to his backyard, and he has built himself like a bunker or a little fort thing. He dug himself like a foxhole in his backyard and had like kind of reinforced it with 2x4s and this kind of thing. And at the time we were like, cool. And then that's when Grant got the idea that he wanted to build his own in my backyard.
Yeah, that alone is like concerning behavior for an adult.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he clearly, like, looking back on, I didn't know what PTSD was, but looking back on it now, like, I think he had a touch, and he had built him this thing, but he wanted us to go down in it, and I was thinking of,
come on,
I was like, nah, man, like, that's cool. I didn't want to go down in the thing because you had to like crawl down kind of in the thing, and I didn't want to do that. But that's where I think Grant got the idea that he wanted to build his own.
That is so weird.
So that guy has since moved out. I know he's since moved out, but I wonder if that foxhole is still there.
Maybe. I don't know.
Ross, I'll show you. Next time we're at my mom's house, I'll show you his house because it's catty corner. It's near ours.
Okay.
Yeah. You can see it from the back deck.
That is weird. You telling the story of all these weird dudes though, do you guys ever remember that show that Chris Hansen did where he was like catching not To Catch a Predator, but it was the one after, and they caught like one dude who was a predator, and he was like, like go next door, and then they go next door and they find a predator, and he's like, it's like there's like 7 of us here. Yeah,
I feel like trailer park. Everyone in the trailer park was a predator.
It feels almost like you might have lived in a scenario like that, but just never got caught.
Yeah. No, it was like looking back on it, it was definitely odd.
It's weird.
It's definitely strange.
I don't think I've ever had any weird experiences as a kid with anyone like that.
Looking back, I think I have. Like, I've never been invited to anyone's dungeon. Actually, I take that back. I haven't been invited to anyone's dungeon as a child, but as an adult, I was invited to a dungeon. I turned it down though. It was a very strange interaction. I'll tell you that story before I tell you.
How do you get invited to? You're about to say, how does one get in? Like, how does that start?
I was in North Dakota.
Oh, well, enough said.
Yeah, I was in North Dakota. The bars were letting out. Me and my best friend up there, and we were just walking out. He was from Alabama, I was from North Carolina, and we were just walking around, and some kid just walked up to us, like, and mind you, he looked like just disgusting. I'm pretty sure he had a duster on, so you just can't trust a guy in a duster, right? That's not I don't know.
Unless they're fighting devils.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, a duster and cowboy hat, no way.
Well, I'm pretty sure he had a duster and a dragon t-shirt on under it, so I was like, you know what? I can't trust this guy. But he was like, "Hey,
duster.
What's that?
What color was the duster?"
Oh, it was black leather.
That's the kind of guy that will come up and be like, "Vic Mignogna is in the clear."
Yeah. If it was a blue duster or a red duster, he might have just been a cool guy.
No, this guy was not. And he's like, "Hey, the party doesn't have to end. We're gonna have a couple people over." He's like, "We're gonna have a couple people over at the dungeon if you want to come." And I was like, I just looked at my friend. He's like, "What?" Luckily, he was there because he's like, "You know what? Nah, I'd rather not." Because if it was just me, I might have been like, "Sure, why not?"
Yeah.
Maybe. I guess I don't have anything else going on, but my buddy's like, nah, we're gonna head home. Uh, so yeah, that happened, and then we were talking about being youthful and being around predators. Sometimes I like to go check. There's a website called Family Watchdog. It shows all the sex offenders, and you can look it up by area code or street or whatever. You can see them on the map. So I like to go back to the old neighborhood to see how many people I went to school with that were predators or even adults.
Yeah.
There were no adults that I knew that were sex pred, so thanks, Mom, for looking out, keeping me away from the adult sex
Nice.
predators. But there was a kid that, so me and my friends, we would go, there's a basketball court at a church near us. So we'd always go play basketball, and there was another group of kids because there's projects over there. So the kids from the projects would come over, and they would come over with this kid that was a few years older than us. He was probably like 4 or 5 years older than us. And he also seemed like he was delayed, and he was a little light in the loafers, but he would play basketball, no judgment. But he would play basketball with us and stuff. I found out that he had been molesting those kids that he would come to the park with.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, that could have been me.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, no. I mean, it wouldn't, I shouldn't say it would have never been me, but it was, it wasn't, thank goodness. I was like, oh, poor kids. But yeah, really creeped me out looking back.
Dude, that's close to home. That's
Yeah.
close.
Because like he's touched me before playing basketball, and who knows what type of sexual gratification he got out of that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, so yeah, it just makes me feel all gross inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys know any sex preds that you grew up with?
Kind of. I knew a guy I was friends with in high school's older brother, after I moved away, got caught jerking it in a parking lot, like intention like he drove up next to a woman who was in her car so that like both of their driver windows were like side by side, and then he would just like he whipped it out and started jerking it, but she called the cops and he got arrested. So
Wow.
I don't know how many times he did that, because you got to think like he got caught doing it one time, but he's probably done it a bunch of times, and
Yeah,
people
how
just
many
like
other times?
just drove away disgusted.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that, because this is the 1 year anniversary, or I guess a few days after the 1 year anniversary of, or I guess people were calling it the Gooniversary.
Yes.
There was a gentleman, I can't remember his name now, but he had driven through a drive-through, and
Yeah.
it was like one of those bikini baristas, and he was caught with his pants down, and she recorded the video, posted online, and the next day he killed himself,
Yeah.
leaving behind a wife and a young child, I believe. And a few young men in that area held a Gooniversary event where
Did
they
they really?
said rest in peace to the Goon Rule is what they were calling.
The Goono?
So they're okay with what he did?
It's not that they were okay with it necessarily. It's just more like, hey, we're Gooners. He's a Gooner. We lost a Gooner.
Yeah.
Lost a good one.
We lost a good one. It's just an unfortunate situation.
So what's this anniversary? How many years ago was it?
Last year, it's 1 year.
1 year anniversary.
1 year.
Yeah, I remember seeing it when it happened, like on social media. I didn't know he killed himself immediately, though. I don't think I
Yeah.
ever knew that he killed himself.
Yeah, I mean, his information was immediately out. So
Yeah.
I was I'm not defending him, but it's sort of like, let's say you go to a strip club and a guy's in there jerking it, right? Like, is it inappropriate? Yes, but it's a guy at a strip club.
Well,
It's sort of like,
that's the whole thing with what's his name? Ruben, what was his
yeah,
name?
he's in the adult film. You're talking about Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. I was trying to think of his action name. I was gonna say Ruben Stuttered, but I think that's the
Yeah.
fat dude from American
America's
Idol.
Got
Yeah, American
Talent.
Idol. That's the
Yeah, what's
completely
his-
different opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yes. What was his name? Ruben something?
Ruben Studdard. Yeah.
No, Ruben Studdard is the the
Oh,
innocent
yeah.
man.
He's the fat black guy from American Idol. You're talking about Paul Rubin.
Paul Rubens, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got caught in the in like a porn theater doing that.
Yeah.
Which like, it's gross, it's weird, but like that to me, I'm like, I would have assumed that's what was happening in one of those theaters.
Yeah, I feel like they blew that way out of in all honesty, like they blew that way out of proportion. It's not like he was in
It was
fucking
just because
watching
it was Pee Wee
Frozen or
Herman, I
something.
think. It was just because it was Pee Wee Herman.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
What do you
he
think?
was known as Pee Wee.
Pee Wee Herman doesn't rub one out? Is that what you're telling me? Pee Wee Herman doesn't goon? If anyone goons is Pee Wee Herman, I mean, look at
It's
the guy.
probably Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
I think it'd be amazing if Ruben Studdard got caught doing that.
He'd be like, "Don't catch me, dog," or something like that.
Oh no,
Little
that's not.
pitchy.
That's
You're
what's his
talking-
name? You're talking about the
Randy Jackson, the
Randy
judge.
Jackson, the judge.
Is that who
yeah.
that is?
Yeah, Ruben Studdard's the guy who I think won.
No,
wait,
he finished.
won.
Actually,
Didn't
no,
he win?
Wait, yeah, he beat Clay
Yeah,
Aikens.
Yes.
He beat Clay, but he didn't have the same career. Second place got a better career than him.
Clay Aiken was more popular Christopher Theodore Ruben Studdard is an American R&B
Yeah.
pop and gospel singer, actor
Ruben
who
Studdard
rose to fame.
had a couple
Won in
bops.
2003.
I do
He's
think
known
it'd
as
be-
the Velvet Teddy Bear.
I think it would be hilarious if the Velvet Teddy Bear was caught rubbing one out, and then whilst caught started affecting a Randy Jackson accent to try to explain himself.
Speaking
A
of
little pitchy for me, dog.
Speaking of gooning, I tell you another sexual predator. I didn't know at first, but I found out later. So I'm in North Dakota, my first base, and a Dominican man befriends me. We didn't work in the same office, so he was the only person that was my friend outside of the office. But he's like sort of showing me around and stuff. And I remember one day. This is when I was a young, supple military man. Not a little chunky, but the body was tight back in the day. But I remember walking into our dorms, and there was like a walkway above the first floor, so you could like look down and see everything. And I remember him standing on the second floor and looking at me. He's like spoke or whatever. And I remember walking by, and I turned around and I could see that he was still looking at me as I walked away from behind. I was like, huh. That's weird, but I didn't think of it too much. But anyways, not long after that, one of my coworkers was like, hey, you shouldn't hang around that guy. I was like, well, he's pretty cool. We go get lunch, whatever. She's like, no, he's a fucking weirdo. So anyways, so in the military, we have these things called Article 15s, which essentially Article 15 is like, hey, we could court-martial you, you can go to jail, or you can just accept your punishment, say what I did was wrong, and, we'll figure out some other way. But anyways, just so you know, what he did then, he would have still gone to jail today, but back a different time when I first joined. But I guess he had been sneaking into other men's rooms on base and gooning over them as they slept.
No way.
Yeah.
Like it got on them?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Oh
horrible.
my God.
Gooning to completion.
I mean, at least have the decency to aim it away.
Yeah, no, he got it on them, and
Ugh.
I was like, "What the fuck? This guy's hanging around me." Anyways, after that, I never.
This
hung
is a
around him
pal of
again.
yours.
Yeah,
He had eyes on you though. He was
I know.
thinking,
I could have been next. I always think about how he was looking at me after I walked past him. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I was like, I'm visiting your spot tonight.
I know. I was like, "Bro, what in the world?" Yeah,
You can be my Huckleberry.
I almost got gooned on.
God.
Yeah,
you're a near miss goon.
The Goonies over here.
yeah,
This whole episode kind of turned into like the goon episode.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's
it
the
did.
anniversary. It's the time to do it.
I think so.
Perfect time. Well, I think that might do it for us. Ross, you might I think you have to go start packing up your new house, right?
Yep. Keep at it every day until I'm there. The next show we do may be in my new spot.
Nice.
Yeah,
How cool.
that's pretty cool.
The internet guy's coming out this week.
I'll have to work on that.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you as always for listening to Chuckle with the Guys. We'll see you back here next week for another Chuckle. I'm Justin. Take it easy.
See ya.
Bye.